Welcome, everybody. I'm Fausto Pugliese, and I am so happy to have you all back for another episode of our podcast of Cyber Traders. And today we have Alex Pug. Hope I said it right.
Oh, yeah, pretty good. Pug. That's pretty good.
I always thought it was Pugliese, too. Everybody's like, oh, my God, he almost has the same last name as you. But
yeah, it's very
similar. But I'm just so happy to have you here. It's so great. This is the first time we're having one of our students on here. Alex has been a student for us for almost, I think it's like 4 years now. Yeah. And I wanted to share his story with all of you because there's just so many of you out there that want to get involved into trading. And some of you are quitting, and like, maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's not. Maybe because you're not doing it the right way. Want to tell you some challenges that he's done. But Alex, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. I know everyone here, there were a bunch of students here listening in, and they're all happy to see you. Look at it. They're all in there, the chat room saying hello. Lita's in there. Samuel, look at everybody.
Yeah, good to see everybody. And I want to thank you, Fausto. It's an honor to be here with you. It's an honor to give back a little bit for how much you've helped me. So appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. And you know what? I just love changing people's lives, which leads us to that. I mean, so first of all, what got you into trading? Like, how did you get into this business?
Yeah, it was right around COVID. I was coming off cancer surgery, and so I own my own company. I own my own business. I'm the CEO of Elston Materials in Chicago, which I have about 50 employees, and we basically are ready-mix concrete suppliers. So it's a construction business, and I had come off a cancer surgery. I had kidney cancer, and so I was kind of locked in the house for a few weeks, and I just start, looking for passive ways to make some income. And of course, then they shut down our business shut down with COVID and everything. And so I go, oh boy, I better have a second source of income here. I better look into something. And so I'm like, what can I do? So I start watching these videos, and I started watching, I think it was like Trader TV. And maybe it was unfortunate I started watching that one because it was just crazy. It was like, they were in and out of stuff so quick, and it was just really, really kind of scalping. It was crazy, but I did love the excitement. I'm like, this is awesome, because I was like an athlete, and I love the excitement. I'm like, this is way more exciting than work. So then I came across one of your videos where you were talking about NASDAQ book viewer. I think it was, yeah. And then I go, wow, this is really, really interesting. I mean, I think he's really onto something here. And because previous to that, the first gurus I followed were pretty much like anybody else, that they come across these guys. It's like, they try to attract you with the amount of money they're making every day. And I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty good. And then, here, download this indicator. And then, so pretty soon my journey was like, okay, I'm going to download this indicator, and this is the one that's going to do it for me. Then next week, that wouldn't work. So I was like, wait, I got to try a new indicator. That wouldn't work. And so I was like, okay, this one's finally going to be the answer. It's going to work for me. This is the right EMA and all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, nope, didn't work. So I'm like, I better go back to this Fausto and find out. So I figured I'd give him a call. And the thing that really got me was the price action. The way you were teaching is pretty simple. It's where buyers and sellers are. It's just learning where the buyers and sellers are. And it's like, okay, I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense because it's real time. When you're on the charts or you're looking at trying to study candles, you're looking at history, and I'm like, I mean, that's good too, look at history, but the buyers and sellers is where it's at, really, I believe. And so far, I haven't found many people teaching that, what you're teaching, and so I'm like, okay, let me get involved in this. And it's been great ever since.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that because I bring that up all the time. I tell everybody that it's not about the past. The past is not always indicative of the future. You got a lot of orders, and there's a lot of people out there just not, listen, we're not in the bashing business or anyone out there. It's just that, like, sometimes you got to be a market maker. Like, listen, like you were in a concrete business. You were successful. You have 50 employees. You went through all the challenges of the employee, how to do those jobs, how to find those employees, fire those employees. I'm not going to just open my own business, and read out of a book. And that's where people make those big mistakes. But that's great. And you've been there. But regarding about, your challenges too, because I think that's a mistake that people make, so you found Cyber Trade University, and now you've been doing it for a little while. What has been, what do you think most people's challenges are? of being a trader and not succeeding? Like, what were your biggest challenges?
I think it's getting that confidence too, and in your levels, not prepping, not getting a real education. First of all, I think that's most important, and risk management. That's the one thing. It's like I had to really learn that because I was so impulsive, and I remember trading with Josh, my coach, and even in your classes too. It's great because you trade live, and you kind of ask us like, okay, what should we do here? And it's like, and then I picking up on your train of thought, and I'm like, oh wait, I didn't even think that, So, but I think basically is learning to have smaller losses. That's really the big thing that I learned, because I could always find that I kind of was good at like finding the level, and then knowing when that trade is good. But then sometimes it's like you kind of lose that confidence, and then you're like, oh, this is it. It'll bounce back.
Yeah,
it'll bounce back. I'll just stay in it until it comes back at me, and then pretty soon I'm down 200, down 300, down 400, down 1,000 or whatever it is, or depending on your size. It's like, so like you said, they don't come back, and it's just having that confidence to say, hey, I got to cut this one. Let's get out of this one. And I think by watching you trade live and in the room in the morning time, it took me a little time. It was a little slower than most probably, but I was like, hey, I can pick this up now because I understand these guys got confidence. Well, how can I get that confidence that Fausto has?
Yeah.
And the discipline, and so I think those two things are really, really important. And especially Josh, we're trading with Josh. We would be in a losing trade. He'd be like, I'm out. And I'm like, oh, no, that's no big deal. Then it's less stress, because it was very stressful for me. I would get like, in the beginning, it was, I basically over traded.
Yeah. Well, that's an experience. Yeah. And everyone always trades in the beginning. Yeah. And it's not really a bad thing, because as long as you know why you made you over trading, right, then you kind of like, you'll learn how to cut back. Like, listen, when I started, I was doing like over 100, 150 tickets a day.
That was me. That's me.
Yeah. I was paying $20 a ticket back then. Today, you're getting for free, and I made money back then. So yeah, you just learn how to be more conservative down the road, little by little. But every trade that you make, you learn from that trade. That's exactly what we do, these journals. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And journaling was a big part of it too, and going back and reviewing, and then saying. So when I looked at my journal, out of 10 trades, I mean, if I was a 50% trader, if I would have cut my losses, I would have had actually a profitable day.
Yeah, sooner than later.
Yeah, I could still lose like 5 trades, but if my losers were smaller and my winners were bigger, I would have a profitable day. So I was like, oh, right. It was just the psychological aspect of like letting go of like that, you're trying to be right on a trade.
Right.
And it's like, I know this is the right, and it's not going your way, and you hang on, you would just not let it go. It's like, I have to be right on this one, and it's like,
it's not going to happen.
And then I was watching you guys cut out. You guys, I'm out of the trade. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's being part of a team. That's what I'm trying to tell everyone. That's another mistake a lot of people make too. Is like, yeah, you could probably have someone that you might like and whatever, but at the end of the day, it's part of your team. That's why, like I started the trading room, because I was in a trading room, but the problem is, no one can live here in New York and come here unless you're relocating. But being part of the room, it's important. And that's obviously is like I say, Sunday football, you know what I mean? But you're in class, you're coaching and all that. That's where that comes in. But getting back to your, biggest, in success, because we've all been there. What was your biggest, failure in trading, and which we all talk about it and we always memorize, and it's okay because we've all been there. What was the most memorable loss?
I think it was on one of, I don't know, it was one of those like, I don't know if it was like a GameStop or a AMC or one of those, you get caught up in the hype and everybody's talking about it, and you're like, everybody's talking about this, it's going to go. And then I would just like, leave it. And that was in my early trading career where AMC and GameStop were just going crazy, so I'd watch the videos of, and I'd buy into the hype, and then it would keep me in the trade longer, and I was losing. And I think I was like, down 1,000. And then I'm like, oh no, it's going to, you know what? I'll just leave it a little bit. Oh, there's a lot of hype behind this. Nope. Down 2,000, down 3,000. Pretty soon I'm down $5,000. And I'm like, geez, but I mean, that's just one instance, but I've had a few of those, and I take like a few steps forward, for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then every so often I not so much anymore. I mean, now I'm really getting more disciplined, but in my early days, I would have those and go, oh, geez, another one of those, like I just made all this money and here I am going backwards a little bit. So I'm like, oh, dang. Yeah. So it was like, but then, the psychology aspect, I talked to Josh and, it'll be like, hey, what did I learn from this? That's the main important thing, like you say. And I'm like, okay. So unfortunately with trading, you got to learn some expensive lessons. It's just the way it is. And it's same with my business, you can't do this without failing. You're going to fail and you're going to take the hits.
I say it all the time. Like I was talking to a doctor the other day, another student, and he said the same way. He's like, unfortunately, some people die in my hands. I try to do the best I can, but the point is, and never, I won't, whatever happened, but I learned from that hopefully I'll get the next person. You know what I mean? Exactly. That person died on me. I'm like, I'm out of business. I'm not going to quit my job. You know what I mean? Like, terrible. It never happened to me before, but I tell you one thing, you learn from it, and this makes you stronger. So that's the good thing. But let's reverse it. What was the most exciting part, of being part of Cyber Trade University, of one of your best trades?
Yeah, well, actually, it was during one of your on-site classes. Actually, believe it or not, that was an unbelievable day. So we were just starting out the morning prep, and then you came in and talked about the Trump stock. I think at that time it was called DWAC or something.
DWAC.
Yeah, and you came in, you were like, oh, my phone is blowing up with this DWAC and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I can't remember who was sitting next to me. I didn't remember his name, but he was like, oh, I'm getting in and this and that, and I'm like, pre-market, and then there comes the bell, and I still hadn't gotten in. And I'm like, I don't know. This thing is going crazy, And everybody starts talking about it, and the guy next to me, he's like, should I stay in or should I sell? And I'm like, I don't even know how to do this. I'm just learning. And so, and there we go. Then we put Bookmap on, and you came in the front of the room. We were supposed to start the class, and we started we got an actual live example of. It was perfect. So I jumped in. And you were like, oh, look at this level. Look at the next level. It's going to hit $20. Bam, it breaks through $20. And I'm like, should I sell it? I'm like, I don't know. So you're like, I think it's going to 30. And bam, break through 30. All of a sudden it's like, I'm like, this is going to 60. And I'm like, no way. I got to sell it before 60. I'm like, there's no way.
Here's the stock right here. I just want to bring it up to show everyone what we're talking about. That was the day right there.
Right.
October was the day of the class. It was on October 21st, which, by the way, on site again, everybody, if you haven't signed up, is exactly on that same day. I think it's October 23rd. Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, so sorry, around the same time. But just for a little while,
it was great. And I think it ended up going, it was great. Went over 100, 130 or something, and
180. You can see it right
180,
here.
180, right, all the way up there. Right. Yeah. So, and it was kind of like, do I sell? Do I stay in? And I was actually, I guess at that point, just young enough to just I just stayed in, and I was like, and I think I had it ended up being like a $13,000 win that day. And it was like, okay, perfect. This covered all my education and all my bunch of in the travel, everything. This is great. I made money on top of it. So, so that woke me up. I'm like, wow, what is really possible with this stuff? I just couldn't believe it. And I go, I better look into this, I better learn this a little bit better. So,
yeah, well, getting back to you're talking about that DWAC. I always tell all the students this, and all of you know this, and I always mention to you, you're just going to be at the right place at the right time. Mm-hmm. It just happens, like we're out there, we're always shopping, and like you just mentioned, if it's not going your way, we get out of it. But you see every day, like even this morning, you saw what happened with some of those stocks that got halted. Even was it the BBLG or the Tesla, whatever it may be, or the Nvidia, some of the trades. I mean, you see these big takeouts, but when you see there are stocks like this all the time that we're in, that we find them. Yeah. we just got, but our what we freak out about, which is like, okay, this is going up way too fast.
Yeah.
Obviously he's jumping in, and you get like some people like whatever. If you're a huge Trump fan, people are like, oh, it's a Trump stock, I'm going to buy it. Like if you're anti-Trump or non-Trump, it doesn't matter. We don't get political here, but if we have all those Trump fans buying it, let them buy it. Because I know some people like, oh, I love the company, I love Trump, I'm going to hold it. And if they own it at 180, they're crying when it went down to like 40, like, it's like GameStop or anything else. But yeah, that was a fun time. I'll never forget. I remember telling everyone, I says, guys, I think we're not going to be teaching like we usually do this morning. We're going to just have to take a step back, and we're going to have to trade this stock, how it's trading. That was really, really fun.
Yeah. Watching it on Bookmap was amazing how it broke through it was such a good learning experience to see how, buyers get taken. I mean, sellers got taken out. Boom, boom, boom. It was just crazy.
That was the crazy stock.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was fun. So, regarding so I think everyone here also gets a little, and people listening here down the road are probably asking the same thing. And I kind of like, and it better hear from your words, but how often do you trade? Like is it a full-time, part-time job? Like how often are you doing it?
I try to trade 4 to 5 times a week in the morning. I would trade that little window of time, like 8:30 a.m. to about 9:30, my time. So 9:30 to 10:30 Eastern time, but like I just try to grab that little hour of momentum. Sometimes I do the pre-market, but I'm a little busy in the mornings, getting everybody going. And, I've got my business too. So I can only limit the time, to that little momentum. So sometimes it's hard to stay focused on it because of my business. But once if I prepare correctly in the pre-market, get my levels down. That's the other thing, is just really, you guys have shown me how to get the levels and write those down on a pad of paper, get the price, find my support resistance, how many levels, of support are there? Where are they at? Where's my resistance? And then if I get busy, and I come back to something, I can say, oh, wait. Oh, here it is. It's at my support. It's at my level. Oh, maybe I can, instead of like having to stress about it, going, well, what's going on with this stock? That's been my challenge. And then sometimes my other challenge is FOMO. Really, it's just sometimes things are called out in the group, or I just hear certain things come across the news wire or whatever, and I see things already going, and it's like, oh, I want that because I know I can be part of it, right? Like I want it, and there's a trap right there. I mean, you talk about trend, the 3 T's, trend, tradable, trap, whatever, and so trend is good, but then there's a trap right there, so you get impulsive, and you're like, you want that so bad, that breakout, and it's a false breakout.
It happened to me yesterday. With CrowdStrike. I'm sitting there and like, I'm not really talking in the room because I'm like, could you please break out of this thing? I was losing money but I wasn't really losing a lot. But I was like, I was like this close to sell and take a loss 4 times. And then I had the 3 shake bounce. I was in that trap. And finally it broke out. I would have made more money, but like I was just happy just to break even. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think, and that's what you kind of learn when it comes down to it. But and that's, like I said, that just comes with experience. So how long did it take you to finally get a sense of a grasp of trading? Because that's another thing that people here listening, and we have a lot of trial members and people that are maybe thinking getting in. Well, how long did it take you to basically, what was your, you would say, before you actually kind of like understand the concept of it and got a little comfortable with trading?
Yeah. I mean, I've been trading for 4 years now. So, but I think like last year was really big for me. So 3 years prior was, just going through a lot of dealing with my emotion, dealing with being disciplined. I would have great days, but then I would give it back like the next few days, so that was the whole thing. I'm like, oh geez, then maybe I should just try something else. And then I'm like, nope, I'm sticking with it because like, I know I can figure this out. I know it's just a matter of emotion, and a matter of like, I can know the levels, and I know exactly when a stock is, I know when I can see a good stock. That's not the problem. It's just like when I get in, what's my game plan, and where do I get in? Where do I get out? Where do I, and then you got to just have that confidence. And I think like the only way you could really do this is associate with great traders. If you're going to be, if you want to be a professional athlete, you have to associate with good people to be, you have to play at a high level. And that's just what you guys are pro traders, and you got to associate with pro traders. And eventually you will pick up, just by association, you will say, oh, okay, you pick up that confidence. You say, okay. So you will take, sometimes it seems like you just want to quit and you're just like, I'm not good at this. And it's not that at all. It's not that at all. It's just basically, you just have to learn. You have to, from every mistake, you will learn and you'll get better a little bit every day, get better a little bit every day. And that was it, just to get better. I remember starting out with $100 a day. Man, if I could just make 100. And then it was like, wow, okay, I made 100. If I could just make 300, that'd be awesome, and then started regularly making 300. And then I'm like, will I ever make 500? That's crazy, and then it's like, and then I'm like, will I ever make 1,000? I don't think so. I don't know. And then now I'm regularly sometimes, 1,000, 1,500, I have 25, $2,000 days every so often,
So what's your average now, you say?
About 1,100.
1,100. Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty much normal, which I always tell everybody. That's really kind of normal of an actual day trader. Trying to make $1 a day and 1,000 shares.
Right.
Between winning and losing, you're going to lose, but you're going to have those like $2,000 days that will pay for it. We had them yesterday. I know you did pretty well on some of them. But it's all about just building your confidence. I mean, like we'll find our sweet spot. Like I tell everyone, I was never a big trader because I get too emotional. I mean, like. It's like sitting at the blackjack table and seeing a guy playing like $5,000 hands. I'm like, I mean, like I'm good playing 100, but these people pay 5,000. I obviously can afford to lose it, but even if I'm as good as then, you find your sweet spot. Because
and where you make like $1,000 in an hour, you're done. And then you're just like it's great. Like, but it's also those days. It's not every day. So, but the thing is, it's learn once I start keeping my losses less, so maybe I really could have made 1,500, but I had a few losses. So now I'm, I end up with 1,000 or 1,100 or something, but when I keep my losses, I can end up with a $2,000 day or, be a little more disciplined. Then you got to have the right training. And that's what you guys do, which is really, it's been a game changer for me.
Well, that's a great point. And that's how I think other traders have to look at it this way. So like if you're, what would be your advice for someone that's like new to come into, to get involved, into this business? Like if I was coming to your business, how would I get involved, be a contractor? Now that, in your business, the cement business, what would you advise a new like trial member or just someone trying to, get into this business, and how should they start? Like, what is mistakes and not to make?
Yeah. I think the first thing though is before you start really losing money and trade, you can trade on your own and lose a lot of money. I think you got to like get a coach. Really, you got to get some private lessons. You got to associate in the room with great traders, and let that sink in for a little bit. Start with smaller size, really. So if you want to like automatically make big money right away. And that's the problem.
Everybody does.
It's like, I want to jump in. I want to make big money, but you just want a smaller size, I would say, and get that confidence and then just soak all this stuff up. If you can make $10, I mean, you can make $1,000, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's like, once you get that mindset, so you got to pick up on with the association, and you got to model people who are doing this successful, which is like, a lot of YouTube, you can watch, a lot of people try, I'm just not going to pay for classes, and I'm not going to get the education. I'm just going to learn on YouTube. I had a friend of mine who did that, and he just struggled. Oh, he just struggled. He never could make it, and it's like, it's you have to associate with pro traders, and you have to be able to ask them questions, and you have to see what they do. And your classes are great because you actually trade live. Yeah. And it's like, you ask us, what would you do here? I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Like, should we get in? Should we, okay, now we're in, where do we get out? I mean, it's that mindset, and gaining that confidence, I think, is what the main thing, but don't go big, because you go big and you're really going to take some big losses, and you're going to rethink, should I really do something else? But this is the best. I mean, this is the best. You can make in an hour what you, if you do it correctly, what you can make in an hour is great, and
Yeah, like that, my whole philosophy, I tell everyone that, and I'm glad you brought that up, and that's why, I was not trying to lead the witness, but I tell everybody is that you got to go out there. I might not be the right fit for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
You might not like our style. You might not like the way I look, or whatever
Mm.
it may be. But you should go out there and try everyone's kind of classes out there. And like you just mentioned, like, everyone's like, what are you buying? I said, it doesn't matter what I buy. It doesn't
Right.
matter where I get in, because where I got in, I don't know where you got in. You got to know where to get in. Like,
Right.
like I just try to tell everyone, like, I'm a little fishing. I tell everyone,
Right.
I'm a good captain. I know I'm a good captain. I know where the fish are, but you got to catch the fish.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
going to bring you there. You got to drop the line. I'm not going to reel it in and bring it in for you. And what did you learn from that? I'm not going to be there.
Right.
It would say is in the Bible, feed a man for fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, you feed him for life, and that's really where it comes about, even trading. But yeah, like, you got to go out there, try a bunch of different classes with different people. Don't spend a lot of money. You eventually will, do it the right way, but at least you're getting a value out of it. But go out there, try a little bit of everyone's stuff, and see how it works. What you like,
Yeah.
But what are the biggest mistakes that that people you think are going to be making moving forward into not getting the education? Like I always look at, maybe they got involved in the wrong markets or whatever. But would you find that, like you just said earlier, trying to learn on YouTube?
I think that's the big thing, is that they buy into the hype of the shiny object, where they're trying to make, these guys flash, I made 40,000 today or whatever, and then you're going to automatically want to jump in and make, I'm like, oh, he can make 40, I can make 500 the first, like, no, you just start out small and build confidence. That's the main thing, is just build a little bit of confidence, associate with the right pro traders, and you'll pick it up. You'll eventually, unfortunately, it takes time. That's the other thing you got to know, is you got to gain experience. And with the experience, you're going to do it. I mean, you can't just build a business overnight, even like my business and stuff. It's little, small steps every day. And getting coaching is really, really important. It's really worth it.
Like you've done coaching a lot with Cyber Train University. Regardless, even if anyone else go out there, I mean, how important is, even like, say, not even with us, but how did you find that coaching is so important? I mean, how could you tell somebody like why they should be doing coaching? Or because there's some people just don't offer it. Like I always tell everybody, listen, if you don't get, if you can't talk to the owner, like you can't talk to the doctor, you want to really have surgery with that hospital. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
exactly. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing like having somebody over your shoulder, hands-on kind of thing, even though we're doing it virtually or whatever, but you're getting that mindset. That's the thing, I think, is like, that trader, you guys the coach has that confidence already. He's already been through this stuff. And why do you want to, you can overcome, he'll tell you all his weaknesses that he had starting out. You can overcome that a lot faster if you identify those weaknesses early on. And then you don't have to go through them. You may still go through them, but you'll become aware of them, and you'll have, you'll get through it faster. And so if you really want to accelerate it, it's basically, you got to have somebody walking you through this stuff, and it'll save you a whole lot of time. Because if you try to figure this out on your own, you have to figure out by mistakes, right? So
right. Yeah. Well, so now that you're getting comfortable, you only work part-time. So what does Alex do on his free time? What's your hobbies? What are you doing?
Well, really, I'm so busy. My company it takes up a lot of my time, but I work out a lot. I love to work out and take the time to do that. I also, played hockey growing up, and so hockey's like one of my favorite things.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I love hockey, and so just spending time with the family too. Just getting that time to kind of connect with the family again. Because a lot of times with trading, it's a little, you're locked into the computer screen all day, and sometimes it's good to get out in nature and just decompress the mind a little bit and kind of get grounded, just ground yourself in nature again and recharge for tomorrow. So, yeah.
All right. Well, that's like they said, I play with my backyard chickens and garden. Make a couple of new dishes once in a while. You need that. It's good therapy. You got to get away from it. even that kind of helps you, get your mind off even those losing days, and that's what everyone has to focus on. So, before we tie everything up and move on, any last minute advice you can give anybody here as a new trader and as a struggling trader or someone just starting out, that you would kind of give advice that you probably would help you get to where you are today?
I would say really is just manage your risk early on. I think like learn that skill, keep your losses small, because you'll have your winners, right? And then you think like, oh, this is going to happen every time. And, you're like, I'm good now. I don't need risk management. And pretty soon you're like, oh, okay, I do need risk management. And it's like, and gain that confidence. Once you get the risk management, you have some wins. Now you've got confidence, and now you've got the ball rolling with confidence. And you go into the morning going, is today going to be a good day, a bad day? You don't have to worry about it. Just do your levels. Know, hey, I'm only going to lose this much if you don't have to be so stressed. Then you're going to have your losses. Learn from your losses. There's nothing wrong. Sometimes your losses are your best wins, actually,
Yeah.
So
I say it all the time.
Yeah, that's what you guys say. And so that is true. That's everything. So you'll get through it. You're gonna people will do well if they stick with it.
Yeah, stick with it. Do your coaching. You know what I mean? Learn from those mistakes. Because you're going to lose. I tell everyone it's part of the business. And it's just, like you said, you got to keep them small. It's when you dig yourself into that big hole, it's very hard to dig yourself out. Like you just said, you convert a $200 loss to a $300 to a $1,000 loss. And then it's hard to take a $1,000 loss. It's easier to take a 200. You can always buy it cheaper. Like I do some of these. I hope everyone subscribe to the channel at Cybertrain University, and watch some of those short videos, but I try to pump them out more and more. I like to give as much free information as possible. But, it's nice about what I've learned, even I learn every day. But, I say to my morning meetings, you have those people that are those haters that want to blame somebody for their losses. And I'm like, listen, I'm on your team. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to, some people don't like the reality to tell them that, hey, you did it wrong. And listen, sometimes someone has to be the adult in a room, has to just tell you, it's okay. You're going to make that mistake. I did a big video on NVIDIA. And everyone's like, oh, what you're talking, the stock is going to be here with AI. I'm like, you're probably right. And I'm with you. But why, look what happened with COVID, right?
Right.
If you knew COVID was going to hit, like, well, I'm not selling these stocks. And you know what? If you didn't sell them, you're right back to where you were and you probably did well. But why not have sold it when it happened? You could have probably bought everything 50% off and would have doubled your money. You could just buy it cheaper, That's where the experience comes in. But
you're going to take a hit. It's like you say, like if my son comes to me and says, I want to play hockey. And then he starts playing hockey. He's like, well, I don't like getting hit. Well, too bad. You're not going to be a hockey player then. You're going to have to take your hits. You got to it's going to happen. So it's part of it.
I make a bad dish sometimes. My wife yelled at me the other day. She's like, you losing your taste buds? I'm like, I don't take it as a bad thing. I take it as constructive criticism. It's part of the game. I'm like, so I'm like, what I did wrong. But Alex, once again, listen, thank you so much for coming here. This was great. I think all the traders here really appreciate your feedback, and you're an inspiration to some of them, because it's not always me. I have to always tell them. They always like to hear from a student and what they went through the process and so on. But yeah, like I said, it's the coaching, it's the trading room, being part of the family, going through the lessons, and just be patient. Don't get crazy. But somebody out there, one of the students out there remembers from Castle Securities. My God, you're going back 30 years. Holy crap, that's all. So Lita says, thank you for sharing it, and Grant, like to see you guys all there. But thanks for taking the time, Alex. I'll see you back in the trading room, everyone here. If you want to find out more about Cybertrain University, you have your phone right here. Let me just post up that link. If anybody wants to join our trading room, we have a live workshop. Just click on that QR code on the top left-hand corner, or just join us for free on the bottom link. And then you can meet Alex and all the other traders in here in our trading room, and hopefully make you part of the family and be another Alex.
Yeah.
Hopefully you could be one of my.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, Fausto. And I'm glad to, thank you again for teaching me how to trade. And it's been great. So I highly recommend the room and the coaching. It's awesome.
Yep. And we'll see. And everyone can see Alex on. He's going to be for the next on-site. How many
Yep.
on-sites have you been to so far?
I want to say at least 3. I think. Yeah.
3.
At least 3. Yeah.
Three.
Yeah.
So it'll be your 4th.
Yeah, it'll be my 4th. Yeah.
Be
Looking
fourth.
forward to it. It's a great time.
It's a great time. We have a good time.
Yeah.
What was your best experience about going there?
It's just actually in person, like just talking to you guys. Just
I thought you were going to say the food.
well, I gotta tell. Well, you know what? The food is amazing, Fausto. I have to tell you, it is the best food of any event I've ever been to. It's just crazy. He picks the perfect food. I gotta tell you. So yeah, and just the association and just hearing from other traders their struggles and how they overcame stuff, and you realize we're all similar.
Yeah. We're all similar, and you got to get the feel of meeting everyone all there, and you get to make more comfortable because now you get to see people face to face, other than just behind, but just being in a chat room. But thanks again, students. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you guys had a great time. Let's go hop back in the trading room once again. If you want to come and join us, you got the link up there. Alex, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the trading room.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See you. All right. Bye bye.